The Empire had conquered 17 star systems in the past 300 years. They were not a kind empire. They did not ask permission or offer choices. They came, they saw, and they took what they wanted. They believed themselves to be the most advanced civilization in the galaxy. Their weapons were deadly, their ships were fast, their soldiers were well trained. Nothing had ever stopped them. Now they set their sights on Earth. The leader was a tall being named. He had 4 arms and blue skin that shimmered in the light. His eyes were black pools that showed no emotion, had seen many worlds fall to the Empire. He had watched civilizations crumble without putting up a real fight. Earth would be the same, he thought. Easy, quick, another victory. But wanted to make a point. He wanted the humans to understand that resistance was pointless. He wanted them to know that they had no hope. So he made a decision that he believed would be crushing. He would send It was a weapon, not a weapon made of metal or energy, but a living weapon. It had been created by scientists over many lifetimes. It was 3 meters tall and weighed nearly 1,000 kilograms. Its skin was black and hard like armor plating. Its claws could cut through steel. Its teeth were longer than a human hand. Its eyes could see heat coming from bodies in total darkness. They had killed thousands of enemies for the Empire. It had never lost a fight. It had never even been badly hurt. The call to their greatest predator, they were right. Loaded into a small landing pod. The creature was sedated with a special gas that kept it calm and still. It would wake when the pod landed, then it would hunt, then it would kill, smiled. This would be a good day. The ship descended through Earth's atmosphere late at night. The humans below did not see it. No alarms sounded. No warnings went out. The ship was cloaked, hidden from sight. It landed in a quiet neighborhood in Colorado, far from the big cities, far from military bases, a perfect place to make a statement. The landing pod opened with a hiss of cold air. They began to wake. Its eyes opened slowly. Its claws scraped against the metal floor of the pod as it stretched. The beast stood up and walked down the ramp into the night. The air of Earth smelled strange to it, but they did not care about smells. It only cared about hunting. Above in the main ship watched on screens. He watched the move through the dark street. He watched it stop and smell the air. He watched it move toward the nearest house. In a few minutes, humans would die. In a few minutes, Earth would begin to understand what defeat meant. But things rarely go the way we plan. The pod had landed in the backyard of a house owned by a man named, was 62 years old. He had spent 37 years in the military before retiring. He had been a soldier, a commander, and a teacher of young soldiers. He had seen combat in 3 different countries. He had survived things that should have killed him. His body was, his hands were strong. His mind was sharp. But tonight was sitting in his living room watching television. He was watching a game show. He was eating popcorn. He was thinking about nothing important. The only other living thing in the house was a cat named Oliver. Oliver was 5 years old. He was a tabby cat with orange and black stripes. He was not a big cat. He weighed only 4 kilograms, but Oliver had a big personality. He was mean. He was tough. He had fought other cats and won. He had fought dogs and won. He had fought the mailman and the mailman had lost. Oliver did not accept fear. Oliver did not know the meaning of backing down. Oliver believed that the entire world belonged to him and everyone else was just visiting. Oliver was sleeping in the backyard when they arrived. They moved through the yard like a ghost. It was hunting. It could smell life. It could sense movement. It was looking for prey, but they was not expecting what it found. Oliver heard the sound first. It was a strange sound, a sound that did not belong in his yard. His ears moved toward the sound. His eyes opened. He lifted his head and looked around. In the darkness, he saw something moving. It was huge. It was nothing Oliver had ever seen before, but Oliver did not care what it was. Oliver cared about one thing only. This was his yard. This was his territory, and nothing came into Oliver's yard without permission. Oliver stood up. He stretched his back. He took 3 steps forward and sat down again. He stared at the thing moving through his yard. They stopped. It had not expected to find anything this small. It was used to hunting large prey, creatures with meat and bones and blood, but it could smell the cat. It could sense the heat coming from its small body. They had not eaten in 2 days. It was hungry. They started walking toward Oliver. Oliver watched the creature come closer. His tail twitched. His ears went flat against his head, but he did not run. Running was not something Oliver did. Oliver was a fighter. Oliver was a killer in his own small way. Every muscle in his body prepared for what was coming. When there was 5 meters away, Oliver let out a sound. It was not a meow. It was a hiss. It was a long, angry, dangerous hiss that came from deep in his throat. It was the sound of a creature saying one thing: do not come any closer. They did not know this sound. They did not understand it. They kept walking. Oliver moved. He did not walk. He did not trot. He ran straight at he jumped. His claws came out. His teeth were showing. He was small and fast, and nothing could stop him when he was angry. They felt pain. It felt Oliver's claws rake across its face, across the sensitive area around its eyes. They screamed. It was a loud, terrible scream that echoed through the neighborhood. Inside the house heard the scream. He sat up. He knew what violence sounded like. He knew what pain sounded like. Something was wrong. In the ship heard the scream too. He leaned forward. There was screaming. The never screamed. There was in pain. Something on this primitive world had hurt the. This was not how this was supposed to go. Ran to the back door. He opened it and looked out into the dark yard. He saw shapes moving. The first bullet hit in the shoulder. It was a small wound. The skin was thick and strong, but the bullet still hurt. They turned away from Oliver and looked at. It saw the human standing in the dark. It saw the rifle in his hands. It did not understand what this meant. They had never fought humans before. They had never fought anything that used weapons. On the worlds, they hunted with other. They hunted large animals with horns and teeth. They hunted things that could run or fight or hide. But they did not hunt things that made noise like thunder. They did not hunt things that threw pain from long distances. Fired again. The second shot hit in the leg. The creature roared and moved forward. It was not afraid. Fear was not something they felt, but it understood that this human was causing pain. It understood that the pain would stop if it killed the human. That was simple logic. Oliver did not understand logic. Oliver understood only territory and defense. While they was distracted by, Oliver attacked again. He jumped onto the creature's back. He bit at the neck. His teeth did not go deep, but they went deep enough to cause pain. They twisted and turned, trying to shake the cat off its back. Oliver held on. His claws dug in. His teeth held tight. They was 3 meters tall and weighed 1,000 kilograms, but Oliver did not care about size. Oliver cared about winning his fight. Fired a third shot. This one hit in the arm. The creature was bleeding now. The blood was dark, almost black. It was moving faster now, moving with anger. It pulled Oliver off its back and threw the cat across the yard. Oliver landed hard in the grass. He lay still for a moment, then he got up. He shook himself. He looked at the fight was not over. In the ship was watching everything. His 4 hands were moving, pulling up information on the screens in front of him. He was looking at data about the human. He was looking at the data about how they was performing. The data did not make sense. According to the database, they should have already killed the human. According to their analysis, Earth humans were weak creatures. They were soft. They broke easily. They did not like to fight. They gave up quickly. But this human was not giving up. This human was still fighting. And then there was the small creature. The cat did not have much data on Earth cats. They seemed to be small hunting animals, but this one was different. This one was not running away. This one was continuing to attack felt something he rarely felt, uncertainty. In the yard, the fight was growing worse. Knew that bullets alone would not stop the creature was too big, too strong, too hard to kill, ran back to the shed. He knew what he needed. He grabbed a can of fuel. He grabbed matches. He had an idea. He poured the fuel along a line in the yard, creating a barrier between and his house. He struck a match and lit the fuel. Fire erupted. It was not a big fire, but it was enough. They saw the flames. It knew about fire. Fire was danger. Fire was pain. Fire was death. They moved back from the fire. It was afraid of the fire in a way it was not afraid of the bullets. The creature turned and looked around. It was trapped. Behind it, Oliver was watching and waiting. In front of it was standing with the rifle. To the sides, fire was spreading. More humans began appearing. His neighbors had heard the noise. They had heard the gunshots. They had come outside to see what was happening. They saw the creature. They saw the fire. They understood that this was not a normal night. One neighbor, a man named George, came running with an axe. Another neighbor, a woman named, came with a baseball bat. A third, a man named, came with a metal pipe. They did not know what this creature was. They did not know where it came from, but they knew that needed help. In the neighborhood, people helped each other. It was surrounded now. It was not trapped by walls or chains. It was trapped by something else. It was trapped by humans who would not stop, who would not break, who would not back down. They had never encountered this before. The creature made a decision. It would fight its way out. It would kill the humans and escape. But as it moved toward, Oliver was there. The cat jumped at this face again. The creature's vision was still damaged from Oliver's first attack. There was fighting two things at once, and neither one was acting like prey should act. George swung the axe. He missed but the sound of the axe cutting through the air was loud. Came from the other side with a baseball bat and hit the creature's legs. Used the metal pipe to strike at the creature's arms. There was bleeding more now. It was hurt in many places. It was tired. The had spent its whole life as a hunter, as the thing that other things feared. But tonight it was the thing that was afraid. Watched from the ship, he was seeing something that his military training had not prepared him for. He was seeing humans stand together. He was seeing them defend each other. He was seeing a small predator and large predators and prey all fighting on the same side. This was not a strategy he had counted on. They retreated toward the street. The humans followed. They did not attack anymore. They just blocked the way, made it clear that the creature was not welcome here. They moved down the street, limping, bleeding, confused. Held Oliver in his arms. The cat was hurt but alive. Around him, his neighbors stood in the dark, though was moving fast now. Its limping gait was still faster than any human could run. Oliver, wrapped in its arms, could not fight anymore. The cat's body was tired and hurt. Blood matted his orange and black fur. But his eyes were still watching the creature. His ears were still alert. Oliver would not truly rest until the danger was gone. Watched the move down the street. He watched it turn toward the alley that would take it back to where it came from. Other neighbors were running toward their houses now, calling families, telling them to hide. Some were running the other way, toward wanting to make sure it did not come back. But saw something the others did not see. He saw the large ship in the sky. It was not hidden anymore. It was pulling the back with some kind of energy beam. The creature was being lifted off the ground. The humans were firing at it with their weapons, but the fire did not seem to matter. The ship was taking the away. Looked down at Oliver. The cat was looking up at him. Their eyes met. In that moment, something passed between them, a kind of understanding, a kind of agreement. The fight was not over. It was only pausing. By morning, the military had arrived. Helicopters filled the sky. Soldiers in uniform spread through the neighborhood. They set up barriers. They asked questions. They wanted to know everything that had happened. News cameras appeared. News helicopters circled. The story of the alien attack spread across the world in hours. The governments of Earth met in emergency sessions. Scientists studied the images and videos of the military leaders planned strategies. Politicians argued about what to do next. But underneath all of this, something else was happening, something they had not expected. The humans were preparing to fight. Was not the only one who had faced he was not the only one who had seen it and lived. His neighbors had seen it too. They had fought it too. They had discovered something important. They had learned that they could be hurt, they could bleed, they could retreat, they was not invincible. This knowledge spread fast. It spread through the neighborhood, through the city, through the state, through the nation, through the world. If they sent their greatest weapon and humans could fight it, then maybe humans could fight maybe humans had a chance. In the days after the attack, was interviewed by military officials. They wanted to know everything about the creature. They wanted to understand how he had hurt it. They wanted to learn from his experience, told them the truth. He told them about Oliver. He told them that the cat had attacked first. He told them that the cat had refused to back down. The officers listened carefully. They wrote everything down. Some of them did not believe that a cat had really made a difference. Some of them thought was exaggerating, but some of them understood. Some of them understood that courage was not about size or strength. It was about will. It was about refusing to accept defeat. Meanwhile, the ship was very angry. They had returned damaged and defeated. This was a shame to the Empire. This was a failure, wanted revenge. He wanted to show the humans what real power was. He wanted to make them understand their mistake. Called his commanders together. He told them they would attack the city directly. They would use weapons instead of creatures. They would destroy everything until the humans stopped fighting. It was simple. It was direct. It was what they had done to every world that resisted. But something was different about Earth. When the ships moved into position to attack, they found resistance. Human military planes were already in the air. Human defense systems were already online. Human soldiers were already in position. The humans had used the time since the attack to prepare. They could have destroyed the human defenses easily. They had better weapons. They had better ships. They had better training. But every day they fought, more humans died, but also more humans were learning to fight. Every attack the made was recorded and studied. Every defensive strategy the humans tried was either improved or abandoned. Slowly, they began to understand something terrible. They were not fighting a single enemy. They were fighting an entire civilization. Every human seemed willing to defend their world. Even the farmers were picking up weapons. Even the teachers were training young people to fight. Even the children understood that this was a war. They had conquered 17 star systems by sending their greatest weapon and watching civilizations collapse. But Earth was different. Earth had an Oliver. Earth had neighbors who helped each other. Earth had soldiers and teachers and farmers and children, all willing to stand together. In the streets and in the forests, humans fought the forces. Some humans died, many humans died, but they died too, more than they expected, more than they could easily replace. Watched the data coming in from the battlefield. He saw the human forces growing stronger. He saw the forces taking losses. He saw something he had never seen before in his long military career. He saw a civilization that would not break, a civilization that would not give up, a civilization that was learning to fight an advanced enemy and learning fast. The commander made a discovery. When his soldiers attacked a house with a family inside, the soldiers faced stronger resistance. When his soldiers attacked a group of humans defending a child, the humans fought harder. When his soldiers tried to separate families, they found humans willing to die to stay together. They had always believed that humans were weak creatures driven by emotion. This was the sat alone in his command center. The screens around him showed maps of Earth. Red markers showed positions. Blue markers showed human positions. With every hour that passed, more blue markers appeared. The humans were not just defending their cities anymore. They were attacking. They were pushing back. They were winning ground. This had never happened before. In 300 years of conquest, the empire had never been pushed back by a civilization they were trying to conquer, had never seen it. His commanders had never seen it. The military strategy was built on the belief that when faced with superior force, civilizations would collapse. But the humans were not collapsing. Pulled up the footage from the first battle. He watched fire his rifle. He watched Oliver attack he watched the neighbors come with their simple weapons. He watched humans put themselves between danger and other humans. He watched them refuse to retreat. He watched them refuse to give up. Then pulled up more footage. He watched human soldiers protecting human children. He watched humans sharing food with other humans. He watched humans holding hands before battles. He watched humans crying over other humans who had died, did not understand this. For though war was simple, you fought. You won, you moved on. Emotions were not part of the equation. But for humans, emotions were everything. Humans fought because they loved their families. Humans fought because they cared about their neighbors. Humans fought because they believed in something. They had been built to kill. It was very good at killing. But they had never been built to fight something that did not want to die. A message came through. It was from one of his field commanders, a named Hunter Vex. Vex had been leading the assault on a major human city. Vex's message was short and direct. The message said that Vex was withdrawing his forces. The human resistance was too strong. The losses were too great. Vex did not believe the city could be taken. Was shocked. Hunter Vex had never retreated before. Vex was one of the greatest military leaders in the Empire, but Vex was retreating because the humans would not break. Other commanders sent similar messages. They were losing soldiers, they were losing battles, they were facing a civilization that would not surrender no matter how many weapons were used against them. The humans had something that they did not have. The humans had hope. The humans had purpose. The humans had each other. Made a call to the council that governed the Empire. He told them about the campaign on Earth. He told them about the failures. He told them about the being defeated. He told them about the military losses. The council listened in silence. Then the council told something that changed everything. The council told him that the Empire did not have unlimited resources. The council told him that the campaign on Earth was costing too much. The council told him that other empires were moving on other fronts. The council told him that the Empire could not fight a two-front war and defeat a planet that would not be defeated. The council gave an order. The order was to evaluate whether Earth was worth taking. The order was to make a strategic choice. Continue the war or withdraw. Looked at the screens again. He looked at the blue markers showing human positions. They were not running. They were advancing. He looked at the data about human military capability. It was low by standards, but it was improving. Every day the humans learned more about how to fight Every day the humans got stronger. Pulled up the footage of Oliver again. The small cat was sitting in a human shelter. Other humans were around the cat. They were petting it. They were caring for it. The humans treated the cat like it was important, like it was valuable, like it was worth protecting. Made a decision. He called a secure communication line to Earth. He asked to speak to the military leaders who were fighting his forces. The humans were surprised to receive the call, but they answered. His message was simple. He told the human commanders that the Empire was withdrawing from Earth. He told them that Earth was too strong. He told them that the humans had shown something that they had not expected. Told them that humans cared about each other more than they cared about their own survival. Told them that a civilization that was willing to die for each other was not a civilization that could be conquered. The human commanders asked why was telling them this. Why not just keep fighting? Why not use bigger weapons? Why not try to crush them completely? His answer was honest. He said that conquest was only worth it if the conquest was successful. He said that taking Earth would cost too many lives. He said that even if the victory would be hollow. He said that they had learned something important. Told them the truth. He said that individual strength did not guarantee victory. He said that engineered weapons could be defeated by creatures that cared about something. He said that it could be beaten by a cat because the cat was fighting to protect something it loved. He said that humans could not be conquered because they did not fight for glory or power. They fought for each other. The human commanders understood what was saying. They understood that the commander was admitting something. He was admitting that humans had beaten the Empire, not with better weapons, not with more soldiers, but with something stronger, with will, with love, with the determination to stand together. Told them one more thing. He said that the Empire would leave Earth. He said that no other ships would come back. He said that Earth was free. He said that the Empire had learned the hard way that some civilizations could not be conquered. He told them to tell the world that a small predator from a primitive world had defeated the greatest weapon the Empire possessed. He told them to tell the world that an old soldier and his cat had changed the course of history. He told them to tell the world that humanity was stronger than any civilization had believed. Then ended the transmission. He gave the order to all forces. The order was to retreat. The order was to leave Earth. The order was to go home. The forces did not argue. They began to pull back. They began to leave the planet that had humbled them. Greatest mistake. They did not understand that human emotion was not a weakness. Human emotion was a source. The ship rose slowly into the sky. It lifted straight up higher and higher until it was just a small speck against the clouds. Then it was gone. The ship jumped to faster than light speed and disappeared. The stars where they had come from were the stars they returned to. Earth had beaten them back. The news spread across the planet in minutes. The forces were leaving. The war was over. Humanity had survived. People came out of their shelters and hiding places. They walked into the sunlight. They looked at the sky and saw no alien ships. They looked at each other and realized they were still alive. There was celebration in every city. There was sadness too. Many humans had died in the war with the thousands had been killed. Families had lost members, but the celebration was stronger than the sadness. The celebration was for survival. The celebration was for victory. The celebration was for the fact that Earth had not been conquered. Came out of the shelter with Oliver in his arms. The cat was healing. His wounds were getting better. His fur was growing back. His eyes were still sharp and alert. Walked through the streets of his city, and everywhere he went, people recognized him. People wanted to touch him. People wanted to thank him. But knew the truth. He knew that Oliver had fought first. He knew that Oliver had shown him how to fight. He knew that if Oliver had not attacked if Oliver had run away, might have run away too. But Oliver had not run. Oliver had stood his ground. And in standing his ground, Oliver had changed everything. Took Oliver back to his house. The backyard was damaged from the first battle. The grass was burned. The fence was broken, but would fix it, would make it his home again, and Oliver would sleep in this yard again, and he would be the same cat he had always been. Mean, tough, fearless. The cat who had faced a monster and would not back down. Scientists came to study what had happened. Military leaders came to plan how to defend Earth if they ever came back. Governments came to figure out how to prepare for a universe that now knew humans existed and could fight. But underneath all of this official activity, something else was happening. The story of and Oliver was being told everywhere. Children heard the story and understood that size did not matter. Courage mattered, will mattered. Standing up for what was yours mattered. Old people heard the story and understood that strength was not only in young muscles. Strength was in decisions. Strength was in choices. Every person who heard the story learned something. The United Nations officially recognized as a hero. They gave him a medal. They gave him awards. They gave him money, but did not care about these things, only cared that his cat was alive, only cared that his home was safe, only cared that he could sit in his yard at night and not worry about monsters attacking. The governments of Earth came together. They decided to build defenses. They decided to develop weapons that could fight alien ships and alien creatures. They decided that humans would never be caught unprepared again. But they also decided something else. They decided to remember Oliver. They decided to tell the story of the small cat who had faced the great and would not back down. Oliver's image appeared on coins and stamps and posters. Oliver's story was told in schools. Oliver became a symbol of Earth's resistance, but Oliver did not care about symbols. Oliver was a cat. Oliver wanted to eat and sleep and fight with other cats and sit in the sun. Oliver wanted to live his life without thinking about aliens or wars or being a symbol. One night sat in his backyard with Oliver. The cat was almost fully healed now. The cat was back to being the mean, tough, fearless creature he had always been, looked up at the stars and thought about he thought about the decision had made to leave Earth. Understood why had made that decision, had understood that some civilizations could not be conquered, had understood that conquest was only victory if the conquered civilization could be controlled afterward. Earth could not be controlled. Earth had too much will. Earth had too many people willing to die for each other. Understood something else, too. He understood that they would tell this story to other civilizations. He understood that other alien empires would hear about how there was defeated by an old soldier and a house cat. He understood that this story would travel through the galaxy, and he understood that it would change how alien civilizations thought about Earth and about humans. The humans of Earth had sent a message to the galaxy. The message was simple: do not come to Earth. Do not try to conquer us. We will fight you. We will stand together. We will not give up. Oliver stretched and jumped down from his lap. The cat walked across the yard and climbed onto the fence. He looked out at the neighborhood. He looked at the stars. Oliver had no understanding of what he had done. Oliver did not know that his actions had changed the course of human history. Oliver was just a cat. He was just doing what cats do. He was protecting his territory. He was defending what was his. But in doing that, in simply being himself, Oliver had shown the humans what strength really was. Oliver had shown them that will mattered more than size. Oliver had shown them that courage was not about intelligence or planning. Courage was about refusing to back down. Courage was about standing your ground even when everything told you to run. When inside, he was tired. The war was over. His body could rest now. His mind could rest now. Tomorrow there would be scientists to talk to. Tomorrow there would be military leaders asking questions. Tomorrow there would be reporters and officials and people who wanted to thank him. But tonight slept, and Oliver slept in the backyard under the stars, the same cat he had always been. Mean, tough, fearless. The cat who had faced the greatest weapon the Empire possessed and had refused to accept defeat. In the morning, the sun came up over the earth. It was the same sun that had risen every day before the war. It was the same sun that had risen every day during the war. It was the same sun that would rise every day after. But the earth below was different now. The earth had survived. The earth had fought. The earth had won. Somewhere in the galaxy, on a ship heading home, watched the data about Earth. He watched the humans rebuild. He watched the humans prepare. He watched the humans tell the story of the small cat and the great soldier. Realized that he had done something that would have great consequences. He had left Earth unconquered. This would echo through the galaxy. Other civilizations would ask why the mighty empire had retreated from a primitive world. Other civilizations would ask what power Earth possessed that they could not overcome. And when they heard the answer, when they learned that a cat and an old soldier and the will of a people to stand together had defeated a conquering empire, they would understand. They would understand that not everything could be taken by force. Some civilizations were strong not because of weapons, but because of what they believed. Some civilizations could not be conquered because conquest requires the conquered civilization to break, and Earth would never break. Of strength, when humans cared about something, they would fight for it. When humans loved something, they would defend it with their last breath. Oliver, the small cat who had started this war, was living in a shelter with. The cat was healing from his wounds. He could not fight anymore. His body was too damaged. But everywhere went people saw Oliver. They saw the small creature that had faced down an alien monster and refused to back down. Oliver became a symbol. He became proof that will mattered more than size. He became proof that courage could come in any form. The humans called Oliver not because he killed many enemies, but because he had shown them how to face death and not be afraid of it. They were holding weapons made of wood and metal and fire. They looked strange and primitive and weak compared to a space-faring empire. But they had stood, they had not run, they had not given up. Looked at his instruments, though was moving back toward the landing pod. It was damaged, it was defeated. The commander made a decision. He activated the recall signal, though would come back to the ship. This part of the plan had failed. But was already thinking of what to do next. He still had weapons, he still had power. Earth would still fall, it might just take longer than he thought. He saw something enormous. He saw Oliver jumping and fighting and attacking something much, much larger than he was. Understood in that moment that his home was under attack. He understood that the world had just changed. He also understood that Oliver, his small, mean, fearless cat, was fighting something alone. Made a choice. He ran to the shed. He kept a rifle there, a habit from his military days. He grabbed it. He loaded it. He moved back outside into the dark yard where Oliver was fighting for his life against an alien predator that should have killed him in seconds. Raised the rifle and fired. The night filled with the sound of gunshots and the screams of the game was on.